We good?
Yeah.
We live? What's up,
Yeah.
everybody? Welcome to the No Limits Podcast, episode 35, hosted on the lovely and beautiful Stride Network. I'm your host, Joseph Cortez, partnering up on this one, like always, with my good old buddy, Mike. Mike, why don't you go ahead and get yourself some airtime here?
Yeah, what's going on, Joe? I am joined again this week on the No Limits Podcast with you guys. Now, this week is a special episode because we're bringing on our first guest since before the virus broke out. So it's been a little while.
COVID, BC.
And we have a great kind of elder of ours now joining us that Joseph connected us with through Twitter. We have Joshua Harris. He is an entrepreneur now, and he is a former Division I college football player. Say hello to the people, Josh.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Joshua Harris. Happy to be here on the show. Thanks for inviting me. I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So for those of you who are just now tuning in, Michael and I have been doing this podcast. Like we said, this is episode 35. This is the first time we're actually bringing on a virtual guest. So we've had guests on before, like people from, like local area, like San Antonio, Lavernia, where we're from, like the town that we live in. But this is the first time having on a virtual guest. So this is the first time we're kind of doing this, kind of figuring it out as we go, which is kind of the way we view the entire podcast thing. But I mean, no offense to any of our other guests that we've had on the show, but we've never had a college football player on before.
No, we haven't. We've had a lot of knuckleheads from where we're from. That's about it. But I'm really glad to have him on. I'm just now meeting him. I think Joe is too. Yeah. But we connected with you online. Just kind of give us some of your story, because we were talking a little bit before, and I found it really interesting, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Joshua Harris. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I went to school at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. Played football from 2014 to 2017. I actually decided to walk on and play football. I had a couple other D2 offers that I could have taken on, but like I was mentioning before, that me with the entrepreneurial mindset, me want to take advantage of every opportunity, I decided to take on the challenge, go walk on and, play with the big dogs to see what it would do, see what it would be like. And it actually turned out pretty good. Like I was saying, I learned a lot from, being in the locker room to, being on a big university. The social life was pretty good. But like I said, being a college athlete, especially a football athlete at a D1 school, it's not easy. You have all types of trials and tribulations. You have study hall. I mean, literally, we'd go from, let's say, a regular day would be from 5, you get up, go to weights. 7, you eat breakfast. 8, you have class. From 8 to 12, you eat lunch at 12. You go back to weights at 1, rehab between that time. You either go back to class, take you a 45-minute nap. Turn around, you're having 7-on-7 practice in the evening. Next thing you know, you got 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock study hall. So pretty much being that athlete, you're grinding from, 6 in the morning to 8, 9 at night. So I think that kind of spoke a lot to me as far as, doing the things that you want to do in life. You can really get ahead in life if you, strategically schedule out everything and you put everything together and you just stay focused. I know there wasn't a lot of, goofing around if you wanted to be great, especially me being a walk-on. I had to take advantage of the opportunity. I couldn't just do whatever I wanted and party and drink and all that, because I had to be a step ahead of everybody, because technically I was already a step behind. So I used that and I translated that over to the business life. Right now, I'm a full-time employee at Signature Bank of Arkansas. It's a community bank here, and it's actually really good. If you ever heard of it, if you haven't, Google it. It's the best customer service you'll ever have in your life. But that's my full-time job. But what I do on my free time is I have my own business called Open Up. Open Up stands for Overcoming Problems, Eliminating Negativity, and Uplifting People. And I always emphasize, when I say open up, I always emphasize the mind, the eyes, and the heart. And I like to hit on those points because when I tell people open up, it's it's for anybody and everybody. And if I tell you to open up, it means open up your mind. You need to think bigger and think better than what you have before. Open up your eyes. You need to see to where you're headed. You need to actually, you have to visualize where you're going. Otherwise, you'll either run into a wall or you'll be running back in place over and over again. And then I always say, open up your heart, especially times like now. Everything going on and people getting sick, all the injustice that's going on. We just got to open up our hearts, and we have to truly spread the love out here, because time is just so limited and our life here on earth is so limited. But that's why I'm so passionate about my brand Open Up, it's because it means so much. I honestly feel like it'll be the next big thing. So
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like it, man. Keep going at it. We'll see. I'm interested to know I'm interested to know when this idea started, because you mentioned a little bit about it. You said probably in high school when you started.
yeah.
So what did that look like?
So in high school, like I said, I think it was more of my senior year. I always had the saying open up, and I really didn't even have a meaning for it. I just thought it was, I don't know,
Mhm.
like Nike has just do it, or just to say so that I use, and I'd hashtag it on all my pictures, open up. Well, I got to college and I kept it going. I still didn't know I didn't have a meaning for it. Well, 2017, 2018, I got to a point when I was like, dude, you need to do something with this. You need to actually, put some effort behind it and figure out what you want to do, and just stop using it as a hashtag. So I came up with the slogan, the overcoming problems, eliminating negativity, and uplifting people. It's open up. And that's when I really truly, begin to dive into things. There was this pitch that they did, where was it? At the university. I think it was before a home game. They did a pitch where people pitched their businesses, and I went up there and I was like, you know what? I'll do my pitch. Well, it was a good experience for me. I mean, people came in there. People had like a spatula with a flashlight on it, a special. Somebody had like a special, I don't know, sleeping bag that was like thermal, and I was like, man, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But what I learned from that experience was like, dude, like, you can really do this. Like, you can turn this into, a full-time business and go after it. But that's when after that day, that was when, I started doing wristbands. I started doing hats. I haven't gotten my t-shirts yet, but I think that's what I'm going to start doing next. In the next month is, get t-shirts out, t-shirts, shorts, hoodies, jackets, all that type of stuff. And, just branch off from there. So yeah, I think the motivational speaker inside, the leader inside, I think that's truly where it came from, because I know I've always wanted to be, a motivational speaker, a motivator, a leader. And I think the open up was just a saying or a brand that I could put to that name. So that's kind of where that came from.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet idea. I immediately was like, man, dude, we need to have some merchandise.
Yeah.
Because we'll definitely help out with that. That's for sure.
We'll hang it up in the studio.
Yeah, I actually have some. Actually, give me a second. I can go grab. I have a little bit back.
All right. We got some demos, some samples.
Heck yeah. So he was telling us that whenever he was in college and they were all pitching their business ideas. So when I was in maybe 3rd or 4th grade, we did something similar where everybody had to come up with like an invention.
Yeah.
And I remember everybody, like every single person in the class, all they did was they took something that already existed and they added a water bottle to it.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a trash can. You could attach a water bottle to it. So whenever you're walking the trash out and you get thirsty, you just drink some water. Like, man, these guys need to go to.
That's it. But yeah, so here's the gray hat.
Nice.
Oh, sweet. Logo. All right, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you could see the open up hat. If you're just listening, just imagine what this great hat looks like.
Dude, I'll take a picture.
And then here's the black. Thanks, man. Yeah,
the black. Sweet, yeah.
And then I also have like a maroon. That's a bright color, but I'm actually sold out of that. That was a more popular one. You could probably check it out on my website. It's on there, but I should be getting those in stock. But yeah, next thing are the t-shirts. I'm gonna
is the
my store and push.
Is the traction you have so far, is it mainly from the local community or is it from like the e-commerce world?
It's more local, and like that's what I was telling them. I know in the next month is to get more in the e-commerce, to
Mm-hmm.
branch out more, just to get to sell to people like you all. Like I mean, I met you, over Twitter a couple of days ago, just to be able to reach out to more people that I don't know than I do know. But yeah, most of my stuff has been local, and if it's not local, it was probably somebody that I met through college, and I shipped it off to them. So yeah, if anybody's available, I have a few hats available, but like I said, in this next month, I'm really gonna start honing down on that so I can get that out there.
Cool, man.
Sweet. That was a pretty fresh design. You created that
Yeah,
yourself?
I actually did, which is pretty crazy
Nice.
because I was sitting down with my wife and just trying to figure out like what do I need to do? Like I drew and it didn't take me long actually. I drew and I was like, man, and then I drew that one. I was like, that's it. So that, so yeah, man, I'm just trying to get that out there and just trying to get more people I can get to see it. And for me, it's more promoting the brand rather than promoting the product, because I feel like there's more meaning behind the business than it is for you to buy a t-shirt, to buy the hat. But I obviously, I mean, I would want you to buy the hats because that's what's going to fund the business. But if I can get the meaning out there, I think it'll touch a lot of lives.
Cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't mean to get too like businessy into this podcast, you know what I'm saying? But like I've been doing social media marketing and digital marketing for 15 months now, almost. So over a year. So I've been working with different brands. And that's really the biggest thing that always sticks out to me in business is whenever people, if you can create a brand that people can be, welcomed into, it doesn't matter really. It really doesn't matter what you sell. So, I mean, open up, like the message is great. The idea and the concept are like not only really good, but very positive and beneficial to people. And especially during times like this where it seems like to a lot of people everything's going to crap. Obviously, it's not the case. It's all the way you look at it. But the brand is going to be the most important part of your business. It's your identity. So
Exactly.
for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, I agree with Joe.
Of course.
I'm kind of in the more like the e-commerce space myself, a lot of like online sales. So for somebody like me, I feel like I do good revenue and I sell a lot of stuff, but I don't really have my own brand yet,
Right. And that's perfectly fine because those are two different niches. You have people do the drop shipping and you're just basically shipping, selling, and, finding a way to bring in different income. And then you have people that, that actually want to hone into one specific product, that want to sell their brand and then their brand on different products. So that's two different things. So it's not like if you're out there and you don't have a brand and you're selling stuff, don't feel like you're worthless or your product's not worth anything, because that's not true. But I see what you're saying on that though. It's like two different things though. So that's pretty cool.
So what kind of triggered in your brain for you to make this a business and less of maybe just like something that you'd say, like what even gave you the idea that it could be a business?
Well, I know, like I said before, deep down, I've always wanted to run my own business. I guess it's just the entrepreneur in me, because my mom was an entrepreneur. She actually has her own tissue line and sells it on Amazon. And I guess that's, like I said, my backbone is just to figure out what I want to do. My biggest thing was as far as to people that want to make a living or want to succeed in life, as far as, be happy and succeed, is to find your passion and figure out how your passion can generate income. And that's my biggest thing, as far as that. My passion is leadership, motivation, positivity. So I was like, hey, you're talking about open up. You're talking about positive vibes. You're talking about believe in yourself. You're saying all these things. Well, what can you do to not only take it out to the world so people can see that, so people can relate, but also what can you do to turn around to generate revenue? So that's kind of what was for me. And like I said, I just thought I always think about generational wealth. I always think about what I can do, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. How is this investment or this time investment that I'm doing, how can that affect me, later on in the future? So that was my biggest thing as far as, turning this little phrase into a business. Obviously, when I first said open up, I didn't think it would, I didn't think I'd be this far along. But like I said, I think this is pretty cool. I actually remember the first time I actually put open up on any merchandise was a shoe. I think it was in 2014 in high school. I was on Nike ID and I was creating shoes. I guess this was a cool thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yep.
customizing my shoes, and I put open up on the back of it. And I actually forgot about those, and I still have those shoes to this day. So I guess that's another way I could branch off. I could have shoes like that. But like I said, I think that this is more, like I said, it's more than just a saying. I just feel like I can do more each and every day, and that's why I decided to go ahead and hey, let's make this a business. So.
For sure. So, 2018, right? Big year for you. You got married, graduated school, I believe, that year, and then also had a kid.
Yes.
Boy or girl?
Girl.
Girl. How is she doing?
Oh, she is amazing. She's running around. I mean, just as happy as can be. We just moved out of our 1-bedroom apartment to a 3-bedroom apartment, and she's loving it. I mean, she's running up and down the hall, getting into everything. So it's pretty amazing. So yeah, she's healthy and mom's healthy. So you can't ask for anything better than that, though. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, we're 19, right? You're 19 too?
Yep.
I mean, I'm about to turn 20 in a couple months in September, but yeah, I guess that's a couple more years till we have to start thinking about that kind of thing, But yeah, it's definitely good to hear. It really puts things into perspective for you, I bet.
Yeah, it does, most definitely. I know, especially since, 2018 was a big year, having a kid, it changes your life. And it changes it in a good way as well, but it does change your life. You get to understand, you're a lot more grateful for things as far as the little things that happen. So yeah, I couldn't ask for anything better than my daughter. So that's pretty cool.
Cool, man. That's awesome. So is she going to play ball when she grows up?
Dude, I don't know. She's really aggressive. Sometimes she's in the house, she's headbutting, she's already throwing the little football. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm not going to let you play football because it's a dangerous sport. So I'm actually to stay away from that. But I think she may be an athlete because she's, like I said, she's ripping and running, throwing, and she's not afraid of anything. So be on the lookout for her soon. So
heck yeah, man. We'll be their number one fans.
Yeah. So I'll actually, it's funny you brought that. I'll ask you. So what was your biggest game or your best performance during your Arkansas career? So you played at Arkansas for 3 or 4 years.
I played for 3 years. So 2014, I redshirted. 2015 and 16, that's when I got the most of my playing time. And 2017 was my year where I broke my foot this summer, was competing for the number 1 spot, and it just went kind of downhill from there. But like I said, 2014, my best experience, I'll say I'll have 2. So I have my best experience, and then I'll have my best game. My best experience was when we beat LSU 2014. Was it 14-0 in the field? It was pretty cool. It was our first SEC win in I don't know how many games. So I think that was our biggest game then. Also, that same year, we beat Texas in the bowl game in the Texas Advocate Bowl 2014. I remember that. Yeah.
2014, is that when was
Swoops?
Garrett Gilbert? Oh, Swoops was slinging the rock back then.
I think it was Swoops, yeah. But yeah, I remember we played y'all in the bowl game. That was our first meetup in I don't know how many years, but that was also a pretty good W for us as well. But for I think my best games would happen to be the last game of the regular season, which would be the Missouri game. Every year, I think for 2 years in a row, I don't know when it would be, but it would be a specific kickoff, and I would always get my big hit. You can see one of them or 2 of them on my Instagram, but literally every time we play Missouri, I don't know what it was about them. We'll run down on kickoff, they'll check it, they'll take, and then boom, I'll get my biggest hit there. So that one, and then Mississippi State, we actually lost this game. I think it was 2015, but it was another.
Was that when Dak Prescott was there?
Dak was there. Dak was most definitely there. I was running down. Wait, he may not have been there.
He was a rookie for the Cowboys in 2016.
If he was a rookie for the Cowboys in 2016, then he may have been there. I think he was there. But, yeah, I was running down on kickoff, and, I mean, all I did was lower my head. I hit one of the guys, and I hit the blocker, and the blocker ran into the kickoff guy, and then he fumbled, and then we picked it up, and then we scored, and we took the lead. And it was like in the fourth quarter. Well, then after that, some stuff happened. We get a field goal block, and we lose. But those were probably my best games. I had a couple non-conference games where I had several tackles, but the crazy thing about it is my best performances were normally in the spring games. I'd have 15, 20 tackles. It'd be the twos going against the ones. I was a two at the time going against the number one defense and, making, 15, 20 tackles a spring game. And I did a lot of my heavy duty, in practice and all that because of the opportunity. Opportunities weren't there all the time, but yeah, it was that was where I got most of my leeway. So
I just saw the hit he put on the Missouri dude on the kickoff. Yeah.
Pretty nasty.
Helmet about to pop off. Yeah.
Okay.
Good shot.
I remember Arkansas was ranked probably 2 or 3 in the nation a couple of years ago. Was that when you were part of the team?
That was 2013. I think it was 2012 because 2013. I think it was a year before I got there because the year before what's up? I think the year before they had a pretty bad year because they had a switching coach. I think whenever Bobby Petrino was there, I think they were really good, and then they lost to ULM, and I think it was kind of downhill there.
Yeah.
I know. What was it? 2015 or 2016. We were 5-0, and we went to go play A&M in Dallas at Cowboy Stadium. We were 5-0. They were 5-0. If we would have beat them, we would have been 6-0. We would have played Alabama. It would have been 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
That was our peak. But every time we play A&M, for some reason, we just couldn't pull through. We lose in overtime for some odd reason. But
yeah, because I remember y'all used to play at Cowboy Stadium. I remember watching. Yeah, I mean, I guess they do that every year now for some reason.
They do.
Arkansas,
yeah,
they
have some type of
and
contract
Jerry
with
World.
that.
Got you.
But yeah, I think that was our peak, and then like I said, we lost that game, and then we lost to Bama. Like I said, the schedule's not easy. You go from Alabama to A&M to LSU to Auburn. It's pretty heavy. So you can't really get caught. You can't get lulled to sleep because if you do, you lose one, you'll end up losing 3, and then you'll be out of the race. So
for sure, and even when obviously the Floridas and Alabamas and LSUs, they're always going to be there. But, you get caught sleeping and you play
Rice.
No, not even. I'm talking about you play a Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing the same teams as you are all year, and they're getting, the same look. So, maybe they put it on you while you're not on your
exactly.
Top. Yeah,
there
so
was
kind of tough.
We actually played Tennessee, I think, in 2015. That was our first time playing them in a while. And that was actually probably that one. And then the 2014 LSU game was probably one of the top games. So we go to Rocky Top. As soon as we walk on the singing Rocky Top, good. I mean, they're singing Rocky Top until the cows come home. Well, we get in there. The first kickoff, we kick it. We're running down, about to make a play. Well, I get clipped in the back. The guy beside me gets clipped. The other guy misses the tackle, and he runs it back to the house. First play of the game, they run a kickoff back. I'm talking about the crowd's going crazy. I mean, I can't hear myself think. We get back. We get the ball. They get a 3-and-out. We punt. They score on the next 2 plays. It's 14-0. We've been there for the game started. We're 5 minutes into the game. I mean, you can't hear anybody. You can't hear the coaches. You can't hear the players. You can't even hear yourself think. And somehow we found a way to win that game. So that was probably, like you said, the Alabama's, the LSU's, but you can't get lulled to sleep with, the other teams that aren't pretty good. But you also mentioned Rice. Well, we've had a couple slip-ups where we've lost to Toledo. We've lost to, San Jose State. We've lost to
San
North
Jose
Texas.
State had they had a quarterback one year who
Uh,
threw for like 600 or
and
700 yards in a game.
didn't North Texas destroy an SEC team this year? Maybe Ole Miss, maybe.
I think so. We lost. I know we lost to. I think I wasn't there, but 2 years in a row we lost to North Texas.
Mm,
So it could. We didn't like get destroyed, but it wasn't pretty. So,
the Mean
but
Green.
Yeah.
yeah. But like I said, like you were saying, you just can't. At any given day, any team can come in there and
Yeah.
pull one over your head. So you just got to be ready every day.
One thing I'm curious to know is after playing some of these guys who eventually go on and they play professionally, right? You see them on TV and they're, big contracts and whatever. If you played against them in college, like, is there like a new respect that you have for some of those people? Or is it still, man, you went to Alabama, I still hate you? Or what's that kind of look like?
Well, as far as when you ask that, do you mean as far as like the guys that I play with, like on the team or on opposing teams?
No, again, the people you played against.
Oh, like a people. Well, I mean, it's the same. And it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you have people like played against Jalen Hurts. He got drafted. We played against people like Dak Prescott, Kareem Hunt. I think he was at can't remember where he was at, but we played against him. So we played against a lot of guys. And it's still the same respect as far as, they were good then. You kind of knew that they were going to go to the next level, but it's like you do look at it and you're like, man, I see why they did so much damage in college. Now they're at the next level. Now they're really putting on the show. So it's still the same respect because at the end of the day, even though it is Alabama or Ole Miss or teams we don't like, good players are good players, and you're always going to respect the opponent team. So at the end of the day, it's all respect here. I mean, some people they may not feel that way, but I mean, like I said, if you're good, you're good. I mean, you got respect. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, it's such an interesting experience because I guess so many of us just watch college football, or it's completely different being in it and just being a spectator.
Yeah, it's totally different because I know you and even me. I mean, I watched college football before I, started playing. It's just different. You see it on TV. You see the people, touchdown plays, this, that, and the other. And then you get out there like, dude, it is way more to it than throwing a 50-yard, go route or 100 6. It's totally different. And it's like now that I went through it, when I watch it, I always go back to, what I see and what the work that they put in. And it's like, dude, it's like now I see why they do that. And like I said, you turn on the TV, you see people doing all types of stuff, making all types of crazy plays. And it's like, dude, the dudes that do that are the dudes that's in the weight room early, leaving practice late. Those are the people that really put in the work, the people that shine on Saturday. So I think it's a pretty good experience as far as going through it, now being able to watch it. Now you kind of really understand what's going on.
What do you think? So here's what I'm curious to know, because I graduated high school last spring, right? So actually, we graduated a year ago today. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that. I learned
Yeah.
something.
So today's May 31st. We graduated last year, May 31st. Anyways, like I said, I played football. I planned on walking on. Got a couple offer like Davidson, Brown College, some high performing academic schools. I was pretty smart. But anyways, I had a couple buddies, maybe 5 or 6 who went ahead and actually played in college. And every single one of them told me playing football in college will never be as good as playing in high school. Now, is that the same experience like that you had?
Yes and no, because you just can't beat that high school football, because when you're on that high school football team and then you have the opportunity to go to the next level, 9 times out of 10, you were that guy. And you're that guy in high school football. So you're the one that's, running the show, making the plays. People are listening to you. Well, when you get to college, it's a whole different ball game. You get there and you're starting from square zero. Whatever you do, for any of the high school transition to college athletes listening, do not I repeat, do not go to college with a hot head. You will get humbled day one. Do not, because it's so different. And the people there that's on those college teams, whether they're junior, senior, sophomore, whatever it is, they've experienced a lot more. And you have to earn your respect, especially when you're, when you go to that next level. You have to earn that respect. It's not given easily either. But it's a totally different environment from like I said, the early morning grinds, the late night practices, the film study. Oh my goodness. When I tell you, in high school, we watched film, I don't know, once or twice a week. Well, here in college, you're watching film 3-4 times a day.
Damn. And then probably on your own too.
And it's such exactly. And then you have, in order to be great or at least be good, you have to come in and watch it on your own, because the coaches are busy too. They don't have all day to sit there and watch film with you. So it's a big difference. Obviously, it's not as far as the speed. I mean, college is faster, but it's still football. Football is always going to be football. But I don't know. I guess because of high school, it's just so, you wake up, you go to school, you go to practice, you go home, and you wake up, you play football on Saturdays, you have fun, scoring touchdowns, blowing teams out 50-0. You can't beat that, because it's the best feeling ever, but it's totally different in college. So
I got you.
I get what you're saying with that. I can't say, that you can't beat high school football. I'll tell you that.
So I know people like me, I'll see Arkansas play, like UT San Antonio or somebody like really small, and like, oh, that team's trash, they're going to blow them out. Does every college team, they're still pretty good? Would you say that? Or is there some teams that you're like, oh, yeah, they're just really bad?
And that was kind of going back on what I said earlier. At the end of the day, dude, football is football. Any team can beat any team. Obviously, you have teams like, smaller schools that aren't known for, being the top dog or whatever. But that's where a lot of us go wrong. A lot of the, college athletes go wrong. They get their opponent and they're like, oh, I have, Toilet Bowl University, and we're about to go wipe the floor. Well, it's 14-14 in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. They have the ball. So it's like, at the end of the day, they're on scholarship just like you. I don't care if it's at Alabama or if it's at, X school. So it doesn't really matter. But that's the problem nowadays. Sometimes you have teams where, it's the first and the second game of the season where it's a small school and they're like, yeah, we got this team, we're about to blow them out of the water. And that's not always the case. Sometimes there are smaller schools, they're like, oh, we're about to go play LSU. We're probably about to lose anyway, so I'm just going to do what I do. But there's some schools that literally they live for the SEC games where they're, a D1 AA school. Oh, we're about to go to, LSU or Alabama, and we're about to go upset them because they have nothing to lose. So I truly believe that, like I said, any team or any football or any school that has players that's paying them, they're putting them on scholarship, that are there to work at any given day, anybody can lose. So,
yeah. One of the things I think about is, so obviously I'm a UT fan. Mike's kind of a UT fan too. So when Colt McCoy graduated and Texas had that really dark era.
That's still going on.
We're getting back, all right? But we played BYU 2 years in a row, and Taysom Hill was the quarterback there, and he absolutely diced us up 2 years in a row, man. It was so embarrassing. But, you think about something like that, a quarterback from BYU who couldn't even sling the rock, all he's doing is running all over teams, Texas much less, and now, like, he's got a brand new position in the NFL that really nobody's seen before. So things like that are definitely crazy too.
I want to ask you this because okay, so was there anything that a commentator on TV ever said about you that pissed you off after the fact? Hearing like say, "Oh, number 53 over there, he's really slow out there. He's not hitting."
Absolutely.
I don't think I've actually heard that. Now I've heard it about other players, and I'm like, dude, they're saying these things, but they really don't know what's going on. They see this, they see me throw, they see our quarterback throw the ball into the stands or don't do this. It's like, dude, you know absolutely nothing. So who are you to say anything about that? But for me personally, no. Other than, I mean, people in the newspaper say he's too small, he's not going to make it, they're going to run him over. And then, you know, I go out here and I make X amount of tackles and they're like, man, this dude has a lot of heart. And I'm like, yeah. So I knew that in the first place. But as far as, you know, hearing anything like that, no, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that.
Yeah,
So I did want to mention one thing. I actually grew up a UT fan. I don't tell too many people that. Yeah. I mean, I was Vince Young and Colt McCoy all the way.
Heck yeah.
Those are like my probably two favorite quarterbacks. And I just thought that was pretty funny, where I was actually a UT fan all the way up until 2013, 2014. And then, like I said, our first bowl game, we go play Texas. I go to Arkansas, then we go play Texas.
Yeah, I was in 3rd grade when Colt was I think he was a junior, where he lost the Heisman race, where Mark Ingram won it, and I think maybe the next year Sam Bradford won it or something like that. I remember I was in 3rd grade and I cried after he didn't win the Heisman. That's how big of a fan I was.
Well, I was a big fan whenever was it Texas lost to Texas Tech, the Michael Crabtree play.
Oh yeah,
like a baby. I mean, all we had to do was tackle them in bounds. Clock was going to run out. We were straight. But that was a very dark day for me. So,
bro, even the worst part about that too is Texas. Regardless, even if they lose to Texas Tech, they still beat Oklahoma 45-35 that year. And in the head-to-head, if Texas has the edge on Oklahoma, they deserve to go to the Natty. Oklahoma went and got.
What did Texas do that year?
So it was like a 3-way tie or something, or
it was
like
weird.
It was a huge mess. Texas Tech just came in and just freaking ruined it. But when it came down, like, I think the Big 12 may have been tied or something like that. And then Texas Tech ended up losing a random game. So, like, it was Oklahoma and Texas who were kind of like tied for the big – and I don't think they had a Big 12 championship back in the day. So, I guess Alabama – somebody was ranked number 1, whoever was going to play in the title that year. And the team who was going to face them was either going to be Texas or Oklahoma.
Oh, it was probably Tim Tebow, Florida Gators.
Oh, yeah, you may be right. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So, anyways, Oklahoma and Texas had the same exact record, and they put Oklahoma in the championship despite Texas having already beat them.
That's a good question for me to ask you. That's the other question I had. Did the team collectively ever get really pissed off at, like, y'all's rankings one week, or where they ranked y'all?
I know, what was it? Not necessarily, because when was it? Like I said, 2015, 16, that was like the only years we were really like ranked at the beginning of the year, because I think at one point we were actually ranked number 8. And the year before we were like, so I know the year before I got there, we were 3-9. And that was, then the year I got there, we were 5-7, but we made a bowl game. So I think we ended up going 6-7. I can't really remember. But the year after that, we were like 8 and something. But there were so many games where we should not have lost. Because, like I said, we were ranked, I think we were ranked 8 or 5 at one point. But there weren't any – I mean, there was times where we were, like, having a really bad season, and we looked at the rankings, and we were, like, 100-something. I'm like,
holy.
Like, we can't be mad because we're not winning games. But there hasn't been a time where it's like, some teams like Alabama's, LSU, they are – winning when they lose one early, and then they're winning, and they're still number 2. Or like Clemson, they kept them at number 4. They kept them at the sleeper spot, but I knew they'd make it to the end, but I knew who'd have the upper hand. So not necessarily, but there's been some times where I've looked at those rankings and I'm like, dude, this is not it.
Do y'all ever feel a little bit more does the ranking give y'all more confidence to make y'all feel like y'all are better?
At the end of the day, no, not really. Especially being on the inside and knowing who you have on your team, your opponent, knowing what's going on. At the end of the day, we're more focused on we need to win this game. We need to win this game, because if we win the game, eventually we'll be. If we're in the top 4, that's all that really matters. Because if you're one of those top 4 teams, you'll get to the the playoffs. But as far as like rankings, so say it's, week 5 and you beat, I don't know, you beat Ole Miss, you blow them out, and you're ranked. Next week, you're ranked that Sunday, you're ranked number 5 or whatever. There wasn't too much of we didn't really throw a party if we were like highly ranked, because it really didn't matter, because the next week, if you lost, that rank is going to go. So it was more about wins than the ranking.
Yeah, for sure. Because it definitely, from like a fan's perspective, like we're thinking, okay, Arkansas is ranked number 17 right now. They're playing Texas A&M. They're not ranked, so
They're going to beat them.
Arkansas, yeah, Arkansas should have an
Exactly.
upper hand.
Yeah, that does not matter. Like, and that's another thing though. You'll see, and it's funny because actually before playing football, that's what I kind of do too. I'm watching TV. There's a 20 ranked team playing a ranked team, and it could be not to win. Well, I flip the channel and then turn back, the 20 ranked team losing 21-0. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I can speak for most college athletes that the ranking really doesn't matter unless you're, neck and neck for those top 4 spots and you're trying to get into the playoffs. I think that's the only time it really matters.
What was the biggest game you were a part of?
Oh, okay. Here's a better question. Kind of piggybacking off of Mike's, like, no offense, but a game that was like the absolutely craziest experience of your life. Like, stadium was booming, crowds were roaring, like for the entire 3 hours, 4 hours of the game was absolutely madness. What do you think that was?
So I think I have 3. Well, I always have to say the LSU, the 14-0, but it wasn't. It was more of a just domination. We were really dominating them, and nobody expected. That was one of the games where I think we weren't ranked and they were, and we shut them out. I mean, it was crazy. People were rushing the field, taking goalposts down after the game. That was crazy. I think one of the absolute craziest games was Auburn 2015, 2016. We went like 5 overtimes, and then one of my he was a safety, Josh Liddell. He came in and made a play, broke on the ball last play of the game, blocked it off, and we won. Everybody rushed the field. It was pretty crazy. So it's either between that 5 overtime game, which I mean I feel like we were out there forever, and I forgot about the Ole Miss game, the 4th and 25 with Hunter Henry tossing the ball back behind the field. I think that one was pretty crazy too. If you don't know, please Google that. Just Google 4th and 25 Arkansas. You'll see it. It's a pretty big thing. It was 4th and 25. We were on the 40, 50-yard line. They throw an out route to the tight end. He catches it. He knows he's short. He's getting tackled. He throws the ball, 15, 20 yards behind him. One of our linemen tip it up. Alex Collins catches it, runs it for about 20 more yards forward, gets the first down. We run a couple plays, score a touchdown. We kick extra point. We're tied. We don't kick the extra point. We go for 2. We run a little quarterback keeper, pullback guard, and we score. We rush the field. This is at Ole Miss too. So I think either the 4th and 25 or the 5 overtimes when we played them. So those are pretty hectic.
Definitely sounds like it. So 2014, you're talking Ryan Mallett, or was Ryan Mallett before that time?
He was a little bit. There was a couple before that. I know 2014 was Brandon Allen.
Okay, yeah, I don't really know too many Arkansas quarterbacks.
Yeah, so yeah, we had Brandon Allen. I played with Brandon Allen and Austin Allen. They were both quarterbacks there. They are actually originally from Fayetteville too. I think Brandon Allen, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, if I'm not mistaken. I know he started his first game sometime last year because their quarterback had got hurt, but he's actually on an active roster. But yeah, that was the second year for Coach B. So yeah, it was pretty cool coming in there, especially going in the first year, going to a bowl game. Now the bowl game experience, that you can't beat that. That's why I've been upset with, the past years we haven't been winning and those kids haven't been able to go to a bowl game. Those bowl games are like life-changing. You go, you're there for about, 3-4 days, you practice, you eat, you eat, and you eat a lot. But and then you get, like you said, you get the bowl gifts, and then you get to go to places, you get to experience the city. So say, because we went to Houston, I think, and we actually stayed at the Galleria that first year.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we went there, we stayed there, we was able to walk around the malls in our downtime, and it was pretty cool. And then you got a lot of good gifts. So I feel like that's why you see people, man, we're going bowling. It's a pretty exciting thing, especially if, you come off a year where you're not winning. But whenever you go into a bowl game every year, the next step is, I'm trying to get to the SEC championship or the championship game or the playoffs. So, I mean, it's a process. But like I said, that bowl game experience, I mean, you can't beat that.
Did you ever play at Alabama or at LSU, and how was that experience? Because on TV, it just looks like a war zone.
It's most definitely a war zone. My first year at Alabama, I took a couple licks, honestly, on kickoff. I mean, they had giant. They were, what is it? I don't know, 6'4", 250, and these are the backups. These aren't.
They're not even the scholarship dudes.
Exactly. They're walk-ons just like me, but they're like 5 times my size. But running down there, it's a war zone. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's still football. They're bigger and they're probably faster, but at the end of the day, dude, it's still football. And that's why I never went to the game and was like, oh man, we're playing Alabama, I'm scared. I actually was more probably excited because the competition was, it was so much higher, and it was so much expectations from them. In the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, let me do everything that I can to, shine, so that whenever they're expected to do good, I'm the one that's doing good. So I actually like going to the Alabamas, and then the LSU's. Going there was pretty fun because Death Valley's a crazy place, especially the year we went. I think it was 2016. We went there and beat them 2 years in a row. Oh my goodness. Then going to somebody's home field, and then late in the fourth quarter they throw a pick and then people start leaving. Oh my goodness. It's the best feeling ever, especially you see the fans. They do all the hoorah and all that, and then the fourth quarter when they're down, 15, 16 points, and we got the ball, it's 4 minutes left, they're leaving. I mean, you just can't beat that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, playing in those stadiums, it was pretty nice.
So we've got, or the way we've got this podcast network set up is we've got 4 shows that are.
We got 4 shows.
So we have 4 shows that are currently running right now. One of the hosts within our network is actually a huge LSU fan. So he does sports radio and broadcasting at Texas State with their the Texas State Broadcasting Company or whatever. But huge LSU fan. So he's definitely going to be excited to listen to this one.
Yeah, he'll be super excited to listen to this. We might connect you with him too if you'd like. He's college football hardcore. He might be a legit broadcaster one day. Who knows? But he is at Texas State Bobcats. That's where he's at.
That's pretty cool. It's funny you said that with LSU though, because my older brother, he's a diehard LSU fan. Every time we played him, he'd sit in the Razorback stand and he'd have his LSU hoodie
really
in front of all those kids. So that was pretty funny. So.
Yeah,
I'll say probably my last football related question was it so obvious seeing an NFL talent out there on the college football field compared to a college talent?
Yeah, because you can kind of differentiate as far as like the people you play with too. You kind of see it because you can see the work ethic, you can see how they are in the weight room, you can see how they are in practice, and you can just see how their natural skill is. Yeah, being in the locker room with some of those guys, like you got Dre Greenlaw, Trey Flowers, Dietrich Wise, those guys, being on that defensive locker room, being in there with those guys, it's pretty crazy because I knew for sure those guys would be next level material. But you can kind of differentiate from the work ethic, from just the natural skill, and then just the drive. So. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that though, because you go from year 1 to dude, these dudes in your locker room, to year 4, they're about to graduate. They're about to be a top pick, and I think it's pretty cool because you're happy for guys because you see them put in the work for 3-4 years, and it's like they're finally get their time to shine. So I think that's pretty cool.
Now beyond that though, say you're lining up against a squad from Ole Miss, right? Some
Uh-huh.
kid makes a play. Are you ever thinking, "Holy cow! Like that guy cannot." Like, I'm not talking about like your teammates, because obviously, if you get to see like a much in depth compared to the teams
Right.
that you play, but like, are there certain things that you've seen guys do that you've played against, where you're like, "Holy cow, this guy could be next level"?
Yeah, well, so like going on, I'll say people like from LSU, you got running backs like Leonard Fournette or Darius Guice. Those were, I mean, just seeing them on film, I knew they were real deal for the first time I saw them on film, because they're running the ball like, I don't know, like I've never seen before, because they're running like they have they have a goal to reach and they're going to get it. So I really like to see players like that, because it's, I don't know, I guess it motivates me to go harder. But yeah, seeing people like that across the field, you got Fitzpatrick from Alabama on defense. I mean, he's pretty. I mean, you just can't beat. You just that God-given talent, and then you'll see, like I said, you can see the drive from the players across the field, because you watch film on them all week. You see, okay, this is their guy. He's making plays. He's running this and this, and then obviously you find their weaknesses, but then you get out there and you see that they're still making those same plays. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're next level material. So.
Yeah, you find their weakness, so you still can't do anything about it.
Yeah, see, yeah, when you find a weakness and you still can't do anything about it, or they get up the next play and they punch you in the mouth, that's when you know they're the real deal. So, and that's the biggest thing with that, though. You're out there, you're watching film on everybody. You get out there and your opponent finds your weakness. Oh, so what? So if you're slow and they're trying to do this, we'll figure out something where you can defeat that. So I'm all about, overcoming adversity. So I never really took that, to heart, as far as they find the weakness and then you lose after that. No, it's more to that. So
For sure.
Did you ever have the goal of wanting to go to the NFL? And then what was the moment where you realized, I'm never going to the NFL?
So my dad actually played in the NFL for 12 years. He was a tight end for
Oh, wow.
for 4 different teams. So I was born into it, and I was playing football since I was 5 years old. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to the NFL. Well, what was it, 2017? Like I said, I broke my foot that summer, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Playing time's not going to be there because I'm hurt. And I actually rehabbed, and I got back on my feet. It was about week 8, week 9, and I worked my way back down to worked my way back up to the 2D. So I was actually a second string, but they never put me in for who knows what reason. But I knew, I think it was week 10, week 11. I was like, dude, I'm going to transfer, because I was going to use that as my red shirt, my gray shirt or whatever, my injury, so I could get that year back. And then I had one more year. I technically still have 1 year of eligibility. So I was going to use that to go transfer. I got offered from, Prairie View and Houston, a couple of other black schools. February, March, I found out I was having a kid. I was like, oof. I don't know if football is going to be it. I need to find a job that's going to pay some bills and pay for some diapers. So I think that's when I came to myself. I was like, do I need to keep pursuing this dream, or do I need to figure out what my true passion is and, figure out how I can provide for my family? And I think that's another reason why I started to open up, because I knew I was going to find me a job, and like I said, I went to Walmart, worked there. Then after a couple months after that, kind of working at the bank where I'm still at now. But between those times, I think that was when me, starting my own business kind of was hitting back in the back of my head, because I was like, dude, this is something that no matter, doesn't take any, physical skill set. I don't have to be this big or have to be this in shape or whatever. I can do this every day. This is what I truly want to do. So I think that's why that was the moment when it was like, yeah, I think it's time for me to hang up football. But like I said before, I still have a year of eligibility, so you never know.
Come back.
You
Come
never
back.
know. I talk about it all the time. I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I still have a year of eligibility. How would you feel, if I went to a D2 school and, balled out or something? I'm like, I don't know. With this bum foot and my daughter, I don't know if I want to go out there and get ran over by these 18-year-old kids that are, twice my size.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Hey
Wow.
man, that'd be pretty sweet.
Well, I think working at a bank and being an entrepreneur is a little safer than playing football, anyways, right?
Most definitely.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Dang man, those injuries, man, they gotta be tough.
Yeah.
Especially
It
the
was,
foot and what happened your senior year. That's, to be honest with you, like I know it's not I'm not nearly at the scale that you were, but that's why I decided I wasn't going to play football in college, is because my senior year preseason messed up my ankle pretty badly. So I played on a high sprain the whole year. Really just bummed me out because I was injured the year before in a playoff game with the shoulder. But
right.
yeah, man, those are just really tough. But
Yeah.
you gotta live with it. It's just like anything else.
Yeah. I know I dealt with a lot of hamstring issues throughout my college career, a couple rolled ankles, MCL sprain. It was a bunch of injuries where it's like at the end of the day, it was worth it. But it's like now
Yeah.
if I need to relax,
Mm.
recover because still I sometimes wake up and like my foot's like, why is it hurting? Oh wait, there's a screw in there. That's hurting. So
Yeah. It's like, man, maybe it's not a good idea to go out to the local park and get
oh
some
yeah,
run in on the basketball court because I'm gonna
yeah,
feel it in the morning.
exactly. It's crazy.
Do you think playing football at that high of a level? I mean, other than NFL, that's pretty much the highest level you can play football. Do you think that helped prepare you for entrepreneurship and just having a mental edge?
Most definitely. As far as that mental edge, I actually some Gumroad called 5 Steps to Mental Wealth, and it just basically helps people, helps people create that mental security with themselves to help, build that mental toughness. A lot of people are depressed, a lot of people have
Mm-hmm.
anxiety or
Yeah.
stress, and I'm trying to, develop things where you can help and you can knock those things out. I mean, obviously, I don't have the cure to depression or cure to anxiety, but doing some of the things that I've made in that course will help you. It'll help you, bring it down a little bit. And that's what I talk a little bit about how football helped me. The biggest football taught me that the trophy at the end of the game isn't always the biggest goal, but it's more of the process that you go through.
Mm-hmm.
Because during the process, you learn so much more than when you get that trophy. You have that feeling. It's, hey, yeah, we won. And then 20 minutes later, then what next? Well,
Yeah, you want the trophy more than you really want it, if that makes sense, you know?
exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's the biggest thing that I try to preach is we're out here hustling, we're out here grinding, trying to get as much money as we can, trying to get as much followers, as much feedback, when a lot of times we don't pay attention to the process that we go through. And that was one thing that for my college career that I actually did. I took the time out that every day I made sure that I understood what I was doing and why I was doing it. So the waking up early in the morning, the late nights watching film, the early workouts, the eating healthy, it all meant more than just, being in shape. It kind of taught you self-discipline. So say now that I'm starting my own business and I need to do X amount of this to get X amount of sales, or I need to do X amount of this to reach X amount of people. Well, I kind of going through that college football or college in general process, it kind of taught me how to self-discipline myself, say, hey, nobody's going to be there to, wake you up and tell you to get to this.
Mm-hmm.
I already have to have that mental mindset to, hey, if you want it, you'll do it. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you'll be gone with the wind. So that process, being a college student too will teach you that too. But being an athlete just multiplies it by 2, and it makes it that much crazier. But like I said, I learned a lot of self-discipline and a lot of confidence too, because you'll get in there and you'll see these other big guys, they're making plays and they're getting all these accomplishments or whatever. And it's like, dang, why can't I do that? Well, you have to get to a point where you can only control what you can control. So at the end of the day, whatever it is that you're doing, you can only do that 110%. You can't control things that, you can't do anything about it. So only thing you can do is, give it your all and do the best that you can. So that was my biggest thing from, playing football and, going to the university. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about, mental health and your mental wealth, because people don't really pay attention to it. People think everything is physical. No,
Yeah.
college is a lot mental. Football is so much mental because, like I said, you have your preparation. You have to understand why you're doing this and know why you have to be 2 yards outside the hash during 3rd and 4. You just have to know a lot of different stuff, and it's all mental. It all starts in the film room. It all starts in the weight room, and the same thing for college. Like, dude, in order to pass, you have to study. As simple as that. If you don't study, you'll fail. I mean, you can try to cheat your way out. That'll only get you so far. But at the end of the day, when you're in there on your computer and there's nobody else around, you can't have your phone, you can't have this. You have to, in order to succeed, you have to study. So it's the mental aspect, and that's why I'm so big on that. The mental part of life is, dude, if you can hone in on your mental mindset, and you can, stay positive, especially when stuff's going wrong, you can achieve a lot, man.
Sweet. Well, thanks for sharing your experiences with us. Me and Joe are kind of like you, except we're like 4 years younger. We just went high school to this life instead of college to this life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm also a big advocate of mental health as well. And it's actually a subject that gets brought up on our show at least once a month. We'll talk about how to try and go ahead and keep your mind right and your body right, and emotions right all at the same time, because you can't have one without the other, and you can't have all if one of them is missing out. So they're all really important to make sure that you're taken care of. So it's really good to hear that other people are definitely trying to help people in a similar sense.
Right, most definitely.
Yeah, man, and we wish you great luck with Open Up, and when you do get some more merch and all that, hit us up. We'll definitely support and we'll share the links.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we'll get some, and we'll
try
get some merch.
We'll try to get you some sales. Maybe San Antonio will be a hot spot for Open Up.
Hey, that would be. I mean, a dream come true, man. Thanks a lot for y'all's support. And like I said, I need to talk to you about the e-commerce, because I'm just trying to see. I'm new to the game. I'm been on Twitter a lot more. Just trying to get just trying to market my things a lot, and been doing some research, reading some courses, how to get more people in to see your product and then get your product. So that'd be amazing if you all could do that for me, though.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. Like,
yeah, man.
You got our contact info now. You got our email even.
Yeah, man. You got.
But yeah, like, hit us up on Twitter if you ever need anything, any kind of questions. If you want to, just even chat for a little bit, catch up. Like, keep in touch, man. That's hopefully definitely something that we can do.
Sounds good, man.
And iron sharpens iron, man. And we appreciate you for joining us, and we hope to have you on again soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We'll have you on in the future. Of course, man. Yeah. So, just before we go ahead and wrap it up, like Michael said, we're super fortunate and grateful for you to be on our show. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. Definitely a lot of insight that you're able to share with other people that, really the majority of our audience doesn't have. So, like I said, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for taking this opportunity. We're extremely grateful. And like I said, all I can really say is thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Like I said before, though, thanks for, having me on, and I really do appreciate it, and I feel like I said, whenever iron sharpens iron, whenever like minds, are able to collaborate, it just makes the world go round. And for me, with the Open Up, it's just getting it out to as many people as possible, not so they can buy the merchandise, that's fine, but just so they can get the meaning and they can truly understand what it really means. And that's just the biggest thing here. So yeah, I do appreciate you all for having me. For all the listeners, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, it's 45. So yeah, and I post motivational tweets, videos here and there, and merchandise occasionally.
What's your handle again? I don't think maybe they didn't hear it.
It's at Josh Harris _45.
Okay, at Josh Harris _45 on IG and Twitter?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right,
So
and
when we post the links in the video and stuff, we'll go ahead and throw his ad in there.
and he's got his Open Up brand company. He works at a lovely bank in Arkansas, and he has some great stories.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining. Thank you for everybody listening to the No Limits podcast on the Strive Network. We are now, what do you call it? Interstate, multi-states now. We're spreading our influence.
I have no idea. Oh yeah, transnational even.
We're transnational, Strive Network, and we appreciate Josh for joining us. And thank you everybody for listening. We're out.
Thanks, man.
See y'all.